What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Third Eye Cyphs. I'm your host, Natalia, and it is 6:33 in the morning. I originally woke up at 5:45, and I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. I woke up at 5:45, and then I thought that I set my alarm for 6. I swear, in my head, I did. Not even in my head. I know it. I set an alarm, but I don't know if it was for 6. But maybe, I was tired, so then I thought it said 6. Anyway, so then, once I woke up, I realized I couldn't go back to sleep, but my cat, Haku, she realized I was awake, and this is something she does in the morning when she realizes I'm awake. She loves to, come cuddle with me. So she came and cuddled right next to my face under the blanket, and then I was like, okay, I'll just cuddle with her until the alarm goes off 6. And then it was 15 minutes, but the alarm never went off. I was awake, but I was just laying there with Haku, and then I was like, man, I think it was just cold in the room, so I was like, let me take the fan off the window. And then I was like, I might as well just start getting up now because I'm already awake. But then it was 6:05 when I got up, and I was like, what the heck, my alarm didn't even go off. And then I was kind of contemplating what I should talk about today. So look, a whole half hour passed, 25 minutes, and now I'm starting. I also pulled the card before class. I used the bathroom twice. Okay, this is too much information, but anyways. How are you? How are you doing? It is time for your weekly checkup. I gotta have buttons, guys. I'm kind of in a weird setup. Okay, I'm not in a weird setup. I'm in my bed right now. So yeah, you might hear some ruffling. Anyways, how are you? Are you great? Are you drinking enough water? I've actually been drinking, I feel like I've been drinking a decent enough. Okay. I just feel like I've been drinking more water than usual. I'm not gonna say a decent amount of water, but it's definitely more than usual, so we're getting somewhere, guys. Yes, are you drinking water? Are you eating good? Are you eating healthy? There's I don't want to say there's something going on, but I mean, okay, there is something going on. There has been something going on, and I've mentioned this before. How I dreamt we went into this shift. I'm not gonna say I feel like we've shifted again recently, because the last time I mentioned there was a shift, there was definitely a shift. So I feel like that's what's happening right now. The energy of the 22nd was very strong, and I didn't even realize it until the day of the 22nd. I woke up and I was like, what the heck is this? So right now, the reason why I mentioned this, if you're eating healthy, is because we need to be attuning our body to this higher frequency. Our body's going to start rejecting a lot of stuff in ways that we may not know it. It's not we eat something and then we're like, oh, this is horrible, and we start throwing it up. We could just be using the bathroom a lot. We could feel very sick. We could start feeling tired more often, fatigue, just unhealthy, or just our stomach is messed up, we feel backed up. It could be a lot of that. So we need to be refining our food or our diet into a more alkaline based diet. I'm not suggesting to drink alkaline water, because that is very much a controversy on my end. I used to be really big on the type of water I drank. I literally did not drink. The only water I drank was this water called it wasn't called Icelandic. It was called Iceland or Green Iceland. I don't know, something like Green Iceland. But it had a pH above 8, and it was spring water. It wasn't even ionized or alkalized water or whatever by technology. So the main reason why I don't advocate for alkaline water is because a lot of alkaline water is alkaline alkalized with electricity. So they shock the water with bolts of electricity, certain amount of voltage, and it shocks the water until it has a high pH or it alkalizes. But this is kind of dummy proof if you kind of let it sit. I think because, okay, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen people do water tests, and they, you know how you test the pH of water, so then you'll test the pH of like these waters like Essentia or Core, all these 9.5 waters, and then so you test them, and then it's like, oh, it has a high pH, blah, 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 right? But then if you shake the water, if you shake it for a minute, the pH drops, actually. So if you test the water after that, it drops, and it kind of goes back down to maybe a 7 or even a 6, 5. And also, I like spring water. I like natural water. I'm not a fan of purified drinking water. That just doesn't sit well with me. So that's the only reason why I feel like, I mean, it's also because I was like, man, I'm gonna just start drinking. And this is something I decided later on, more recent than often. More recent, I don't know. It's 6 a.m, guys. This is something I thought of more recently than before, I guess you could say. But so when you drink alkaline water, right? So your stomach is acidic. It is extremely acidic. That's how it breaks down food for you to digest, and you can poop. Our saliva is also acidic too, so it can start to break down the food. That's why, like, our food gets mushy in our mouth. So it's easier for us to swallow and digest when it gets to our stomach. So it is very acidic. Now, if you're drinking alkaline water, which is on the complete opposite of the spectrum, what your body is going to do once it drinks this lovely alkaline water is it's going to try to neutralize it, since your body is acidic. So you're putting your body actually through more stress or work than it needs to, because it's going to try to neutralize the alkaline water anyways. It's not like when you drink alkaline water, you're becoming alkaline. It's just going to kind of neutralize it. And I don't think our bodies should be alkaline. Somebody prove me wrong here. Somebody show me proof that our body needs to be alkaline. DM me on Instagram. My Instagram's Natalia of Earth. Natalia of Earth. I don't know why I did that. So yeah, somebody prove me wrong on that, but it makes sense. When our bodies are acidic, we gotta break down food. And it is going to try to neutralize it. This is something I've heard from many people, and many people have studied water, and doctors maybe. So that's my word on that. Anyways, so I suggest we drink spring water. I don't think we need to drink alkaline water. Like, why would we have to drink alkaline water? I think we should, because our body is naturally a pH of like 7.4, 7.5, right? I think we should be drinking water that's our pH. Maybe a little higher. So like maybe water that's like an 8. But I wouldn't go any higher than that. I mean, like, I don't want to put my body through stress to neutralize the water. And then also, like, I just want to be what's natural, I don't want to force my body into anything that it's not really supposed to, because it's very highly advertised, like, oh, and this I don't know, maybe this is what I want to talk about today, but maybe not. It's kind of like spiritual trends, right? This kind of goes along with chakras. Speaking of chakras, if you listen to the chakras episode, those 2 episodes ago, I believe, I'm going to be doing a part 2 of that, because I realized I left out a lot, and there's still stuff you guys need to know. So highly advertised things in the spiritual community or whatever, because, this spiritual community or whatever it is that you want to call it, on Instagram, all these pages, these blogs, these websites, like, okay, like that just shows like, oh, a lot of people, are interested in this stuff, but there could be a lot of people infiltrating this stuff and putting fake stuff out there, and, it throws you off of, what you're actually supposed to be doing. So, and that's something I really want to talk about chakras too in the part 2 episode. So yeah, anyways, I'm not a big advocate on, going straight for things like, oh, I heard this is really good for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, do your research, guys. If you've actually done research on alkaline water, it's pretty much a scam. Just like chakras, maybe. So let's talk about that in that other episode. So anyways, are you drinking water? Are you drinking healthy? We should be, I know, so I guess that's how I got to talking about water, is like, we should be alkalizing our body. But should we? But I really do believe that we should be having a clean body, and that involves eating clean food. So raw food, mainly. Mainly, I'm not saying to only eat raw food, but that's what's going to help you attune your body to higher frequencies. As well as that, are you taking care of your mental health? Are you meditating? Are you relaxing? Are you giving yourself some time to play? That was such a thing that my teacher made me think of, because she asked me, and she's such a big advocate on fitting in that playtime, keeping that kind of sense of childlike wonder into your life. And of course, this is what they talk about with the sages, that they're very childlike. So she did a camp, kind of like a summer camp during this quarantine. It was all like for the yoga studio, and it was all about playing and how to incorporate playing into the summer, especially with everything that's been going on. So she asked me, I think a couple of days ago, like, oh, what have you been doing for fun? And when she asked me that, like, literally, like, I've been working all week. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not having fun, because what I do for fun is I hang out with Justin on the weekends, and we do whatever. We go to the beach, we go to the city. That's what I do for fun. But I was trying to think of, like, hobby stuff that I do for fun. I don't really do any hobby stuff for fun. I mean, like, all the hobbies that I do, I mean, I guess you could say they're fun, but I feel like I've just been working more lately, and hanging out with Justin on my free time, which I'm not complaining about, but I just didn't really know how to answer that. So are you giving yourself time to play? That is really good and important for your mental health. Are you just taking care of yourself? Are you watching your emotions? Are you staying true to what you believe in? Are you staying true into what you tell yourself you're gonna do? Are you practicing integrity? Are you being honest? Are you being creative? These are all things we should be asking ourselves. But that's what I'm here for every week, to remind you to ask yourselves this. So ask yourself that. You should write down these questions. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And then actually think about it. Are you doing these things? So for today, I was very perplexed on what we should be talking about today, mainly because I do want to talk about those chakras, but I might save it for an episode. I did mention I was going to do a Kundalini episode after that. I'll probably hold that one off. Okay, so I'll probably do the chakra episode, and then I kind of want to move I kind of want to talk about Hinduism, because it is one of the main paths that are in my life. And I also want to talk about Taoism. So there will be an episode on Hinduism, there will be an episode on Taoism, and what Taoism is also another main path in my life. It was my first path. And yeah, and then I was going to do the chakra episode. So this episode, we will be talking about Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, my favorite path. Oh, but I gotta tell you guys, I'm not gonna tell you in complete detail. So, anyways, before okay, let's do this whole thing before we get into the episode, because this is part of the episode, guys. So, anyways, that was the little intro. And now a message from our sponsors. Okay, so welcome back, guys. See, you like that? You'll like that there? I got that from Dakota of Earth. Dakota of Earth, look at this. Dakota, shout out to Dakota of Earth, the homie. Anyway, so I pulled a card for you guys. I pulled it again from the Universe Has Your Back deck, because I love this deck. It is beautiful. I thought, after I pulled the first card, I was like, maybe I should have pulled for the energy card deck, but it's alright. Everything happens for a reason. And everything does happen for a reason, because I asked the question of what should I talk about today? What should be the lesson for this week? And the card that we got was, I choose to learn through love. I choose to learn through love. I choose to learn through love. Repeat with me. I choose to learn through love. Now, what do we talk about? Well, what do we mean by love when we talk about love? Love comes in many forms, shapes, sizes, weights. But when we talk about love, I choose to learn through love. Love is unity consciousness. Love is God. Love is source. So it is the original and true energy that is beneath everything that this universe is on. So when we choose to learn through love, we're choosing to see life through love, seeing everything as love, seeing God in everything. And by seeing God in everything, and this is why we're talking about Bhakti Yoga today, mainly because as you guys know, or may or may not have heard about the what is her name? Brianna Taylor? Is that actually her name? That was just a name that came into my head. I know her name's Brianna, but I don't know if the last name's Taylor. It should be Taylor. I can't find my phone right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Oh, my phone's over there. Okay, I'm pretty sure it is Brianna Taylor, but how rude would it be if it wasn't? I'm not very into mainstream chaos nowadays, guys, so. Okay, it is Brianna Taylor. Wow, see, look at. Okay, so I didn't really. Okay, what I thought the story was. I'm not gonna talk too much on this. What I thought the story was that it was the middle of the night. The cops were doing a drug bust, and they just busted in the house and they killed her in the house, or they killed everybody in the house. Well, I didn't really hear this main story. Again, I'm not really into mainstream chaos. But apparently her boyfriend was a drug dealer, and then her boyfriend used her as a shield, and I don't know, something crazy, and she was like into the drug life, but like she didn't have anything to do with it, but she was like kind of in the life. I don't know, something crazy like that. Probably just like I know what they mean, like she's in that life, like she knows the trap people, she'd probably be smoking weed, like I know she's one of the homies, one of the people that we would know. But anyways, as you guys know, the verdict was nobody got charged for that, so there was no justice for her, and people are upset. People are rioting. I'm so glad I moved out of downtown. And you guys have a right to riot, because I mean, what the hell? But also, I on my end, I feel like it's all planned. They knew. Well, they knew what they were going to do originally, or the whole thing's a freaking scam, and they just want us to cause chaos. So, it could be a lot. But anyways, why did I start talking about that? I guess because, okay, so yeah, back to my original thought. I choose to learn through love, right? So, I don't even have the spray bottle. Get Haku down from there. Haku! Let me throw something. Oh my god, that didn't even work. I tried throwing something at her, and she's still up there. Haku! Damn spray bottle. Hold on. Okay, sorry. It is the morning. She's excited to be awake. She's excited I'm awake, so she's like super hyper right now. She's cute. But very, very troublesome. A very troublesome cat. Anyway, so the reason why I started talking about that was because God is everything, guys. Like, this is how we know that there is the separation, right? Because the way we act towards things, or the way we do things, like, okay, of course, killing people is not, seeing God in everything, because you're killing it. But then also not seeing the beauty in a lot of stuff is also being separate from God. We are separate from God, guys. And I'm not going to be one of those people who, preach on the side of the sidewalk like, we are separate from God. But we are. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, because if we weren't, there wouldn't be this reality. This reality is literally separateness from God, and us realizing that. So, anyways, so choosing to learn through love is choosing to see everything as God, to learn through love. So learning is one of the big words here. But to choose to learn through love is to see everything as God, see everything as love. So when you choose to learn through love, this is you're picking up your environment, you're going on through life, picking up new things, but seeing it through the eyes of God, or seeing it as the eyes of God. So this is how we start learning through love. And I already kind of decided I was going to talk about Bhakti Yoga, and then I pulled this card, which is the Bhakti path is the path of love. And we pulled this card, I choose to learn through love. So technically, you could say I'm choosing to learn through love, because one of my main paths is Bhakti Yoga. I am I am living through love, living through seeing everything through the eyes of God, or seeing everything as the eyes of God. So, before we jump into a Bhakti, I'm not going to go deep into it, because, look, it's already 22 minutes, and what have I been babbling on about? But I also want to mention, because I did mention last week, it's crazy to think that 1 week has passed. It feels like way further than that. Friday, last episode, literally the same day of the last episode, I think it's called You Are the Universe, or We Are the Universe. You Are the Universe, Samsara, what else? Oh, and Manifesting, I think that's what it's called. I talked about Samsara, and I talked about I don't remember. Anyways, so that same day, sorry, I hurt my back. I don't know how though. I felt it this morning. It's probably because I haven't done yoga in a day. Or I skipped it yesterday. Sorry. I'm stretching while I'm doing this. I feel like this is okay. Honestly, I would pause it and I would do this. But I've heard and seen Dakota's podcast, and he has full minutes of silence of him researching something to tell you guys. So if you guys want to check out his podcast, I love Dakota. It is a Place for Humans podcast. A Place for Humans, and he is great. He is the homie. So anyways, the day of last week, Friday, right? Friday last week. Oh my gosh. I had the most intense spiritual experience ever in my entire life, guys. And it went along with what we talked about in the episode, which is crazy because this happened the night of this episode. So I did the episode in the morning, and then this happened at night on the same day. And we were talking about samsara, and we were talking about the cycle, Ouroboros, or I would say Ouroboros. I don't think there's two S's, but so we were talking about the cycles of life and death and birth and rebirth, and we were talking about the illusion. We were talking about Maya, that's what it was. Maya, the illusion, and what happened to me. I'm not going to talk about it in detail. I'm going to make a full length. Okay, so I was kind of debating it, and now that a whole week has passed, I've decided I'm not going to talk about it. Originally, what I was going to do was not talk about it in the podcast, make a full-length video for myself, and not really talk about it to anybody, because it was very intense, and I don't want to share it as much. I don't know, I just feel more comfortable keeping that to myself for now. Maybe eventually I'll talk about it in detail. But okay, so anyways, what I was saying with that was I'm gonna make a full-length video. It might be over an hour, or it might be about an hour, or it might be over an hour actually. I feel like it'd be like a 2-hour episode. That's why I don't think I wanted to put it in the podcast. But where's it going with that? Yeah, so I did not want to, I don't want to do a 2-hour podcast episode, because then I'd have to split it in half and then try to convert each one and then stitch it back together, and I don't know if Anchor does 2-hour podcasts, I don't know, it was just too much to think about. And then, also, man, my family listens to this podcast. This is the number one thing. I know you guys are listening to this, but like, okay, I mean, I want to say I don't care you listen to this, but I kind of do care that you listen to this, just because, like, you guys already follow me on social media. Like, this is the one thing I can get to myself, but I don't even get this to myself. But I mean, how could I get anything to myself when I'm putting it in the public, right? So I can't really complain. But you know, it's personal. I don't really want to talk about this stuff with my family. But I mean, okay, you guys, everybody listens to this are my family, so but then again, you don't really react to like my blood family, anyways. Anyway, so that was kind of the main reason why I didn't want to talk about it. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a full-length YouTube video, and I'm going to put it as a private video, and then share the link with whoever is interested. So, if you're interested to know in full length what happened during this intense spiritual experience, I will talk about it briefly here, but I will talk about it in great detail about the whole entire event in this video, that I will only be sharing the link with people who ask. So DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth, Natalia of Earth. No underscores or anything. DM me and ask for the link to the YouTube video, and I will send it to you. It is a private video. I haven't made it yet though, but I will. Anyways, so to talk about it briefly, what we were talking about samsara, the illusion, Maya, the rebirth and death cycle. And that night, it kind of started with an anxiety attack, which I don't have ever, really. It started with an anxiety attack, and it eventually turned into uncontrollable crying. But when I say uncontrollable, I mean uncontrollable. Like, it was not me crying. What I want to say is that it was, because I kind of got a vision during it, that I was crying for humanity. So I was kind of grieving for whoever was grieving. It was kind of like built up tension in the earth or the world, and built up tension from people being really sad and grieving from losses of people, or just like, tyranny that's kind of happening in their country, or just like all this chaos that's going on and people are grieving from it. I feel like I was doing the grieving for them. So that's kind of, I was crying uncontrollably, like it was out of my control. I wasn't, like, at first I was crying for no particular reason, and I had to think about it. I'm like, why am I crying? But it was like my body was forcing me to cry. It was really weird. It was really weird, guys. You would think I was possessed, because I was like crying uncontrollably, and I couldn't really, I couldn't control it. It was uncontrollable. Like, literally, it wasn't like, like, I was like, like crying, and then like Justin, my boyfriend, was there, and he was like, what the heck's happening? And I was trying to tell him, like, I don't know what's happening because I can't control it. Like, and I was telling him, though, like, for a few seconds I would get control back, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't really know why I'm crying. And then I would just start crying all over again. So that lasted about 2 hours, guys. That was like 2 hours of uncontrollable crying. And then my roommate, she's a Reiki master, she started doing Reiki on me to try and help calm me down. And the energy was flowing through my body, very weird. If you guys listen to my breathwork experience episode, this is in season 1. It's kind of my first few episodes. I kind of got this cramping in my fingers where I couldn't uncurl them. That happened during my first breathwork experience, and that happened again that night. Those are the only 2 times that's ever happened. My fingers curled up, and I couldn't uncurl them, probably because of the way the energy was moving through my hands. I felt a lot of vibrations in my palms, running up my arm, and down my jawline, both sides of my jawline. I felt vibrating energy going around my jawline, and then out of my teeth, and then like my teeth were shattering. So I was like, but like really fast, like I was cold, like shivering, like, but like I wasn't cold. I was like literally shivering because I was vibrating all on my jawline and up my arms. So it was really weird. And then they did sound bowls to calm me down because I kept like on and off crying uncontrollably. And then they did like sound bowls, like the singing bowls, like doo. And then I started laughing uncontrollably. So it went from crying to laughing, and I wasn't choosing to laugh. My body was forcing me to laugh, and I was like, ha 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 ha. Like it was crazy, guys. You would think it was an exorcism. My boyfriend recorded a little bit of it, and you could see me laugh, you could see me cry, you could see me like doing like weird stuff. It was very weird, but it was a very intense spiritual experience, and it changed my life forever because as I was crying, I was seeing basically the Samsara movie. There's a movie called Samsara, and it's basically what I was seeing in my head. I was seeing the chaos, the grieving. I was seeing everything in my head. I was seeing life, birth, death. I was seeing consciousness itself. I was seeing everything as I was crying. It was very intense. And I don't know what it means. I felt like, I think I purged something, because it started off like that, like in the beginning, before any of that happened, and I was just having the anxiety attack. I was breathing out a lot of energy. So I was doing a lot of like breathing out, but I felt it as breathing out energy. And I was also feeling energy coming out of different places that it comes out of. And I told Justin, as I was having this anxiety attack, I said, I feel like I'm purging something. Like somebody I thought it was like maybe somebody put a spell on me or something, and I was like releasing it, like my body was rejecting it or releasing it, but I felt like I was purging something, or like some kind of negative entity that's been on me. And that's what I thought, okay? But I think I was just purging for myself, my life, and for humanity. That's eventually what I caught on to midway in like 2 hours in or something. But it was very intense. It was very enlightening. And yeah, that's all I'll talk about it on there, but it had me shook, guys. I was so scared at first. I was like so scared. But it ended up being very beautiful and very eye-opening. And yeah, I'll probably make a video on it. I feel like I said most of it on there. But DM me anyways if you really want that video, and I will make it. So anyways, I feel like that changed my whole mood talking about that. So we're gonna get into Bhakti Yoga today. So our affirmation is, I choose to learn through love. Now, Bhakti Yoga is the path of love. I kind of don't want to jump around like this, where I go to Bhakti Yoga, and then I'm going to do the chakra episode, and then I'm going to go back to Hinduism. If you guys want to check out, I think it's the second episode I've ever made. It's season 1, episode 2, the 4 main yoga types, or the main yoga types, or I think that's what it's called. It could be the first 4 episodes that I ever made. I'm pretty sure it's the second episode. But I talk about the 4 main paths of yoga. So the 4 main paths of yoga are Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So Karma Yoga, just a brief brush up. If you guys want me to dive deep into the 4 types of yoga, check out that second episode. I did do some research on every single type, and then I kind of go into detail of every type. So just to, you know, a quick review, karma yoga is the yoga of service. So karma, you know, you do something good, you get something good back. That's what, you know, everybody knows karma as. So karma yoga is selfless service, also known as seva in Buddhism. So you're serving others. But in this case, it's not to get good back. It's just to do good. It is selfless service, to do good. That's what seva is. So seva in Buddhism, or I don't know if they use it in Hinduism too, but seva is selfless service. You do something for the world or for people and expect nothing in return. You're doing it selflessly. You don't expect anything in return. You do it to just be of service. And that's kind of what Bhakti Yoga is. It is karma yoga, but with devotion. So moving on to the next one, Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is known as King Yoga, the first yoga. Raja Yoga has the 8 limbs of yoga within it. I don't think I've done an episode on the 8 limbs. I think I did an episode on the 4 main types, and then I listed the 8 pillars. What did I just say? The eight. All right. Well, the 8 limbs of yoga. There you go. The 8 limbs of yoga are within Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga is very, I don't want to say strict, but it's more based on kind of certain things that you have to do. So the 8 limbs of yoga, they involve asanas, they involve pranayama, they involve prayer, meditation. I can make an episode on the 8 limbs of yoga. I'll probably do it after the Hinduism episode. So I know I should have kept these in order and kind of did a series for you guys, but you know, we're gonna jump around a bit. The next one is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the intellectual side of yoga. So it's kind of like the knowledgeable side instead of, you know, feeling and because Bhakti is more emotional, you know, feeling. And Raja's more acting, Karma's more acting, Jnana's kind of like knowing. So it's kind of like I think it's the last phase, or maybe the second to last phase next to Bhakti, where it's kind of like, you know, that I have to get more into it. But if you check out the second yoga, I could probably explain it way more in detail in the second episode, the one that I mentioned before, the 4 main types, because I haven't read about all 4 very recently, but I know Jnana Yoga is more the intellectual side, more knowledgeable side, the more information kind of side of yoga. It's kind of like the knowing. It's kind of like the crown chakra. So like the knowing, the understanding of yoga or spirituality of God. And then we move into Bhakti. Which is my main path of yoga. And okay, well, yoga, what does it mean? Union. Yoga means union, coming into union with God or source, right? So Bhakti Yoga is the path of love, the path of devotion. And oh my gosh. Breathe. So Bhakti Yoga, it's devotion. So this can be done through a personal God, a personal deity, or it can be through a guru. And it is coming into union. Hold on, I'm about to close my window because I can't with this dog. Shout out to all you dog lovers out there. I don't know how you guys do it. No, okay. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say I love dogs, but I'm okay with them. But I will never have one. Unless Justin wants one, then he can have one, like, and then he takes care of it. And I'll just play with it from time to time. But anyways, Bhakti Yoga, this can be done, well, mainly done, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of different for me, but probably for a lot of people too, obviously. But the main ways people practice Bhakti Yoga is through a guru or through personal deity. So Bhakti, a lot of bhaktas, I was gonna say bow down to, worship Vishnu or Krishna. Krishna is Vishnu, basically. But yeah, so a lot of bhaktas are actually Vaishnavas, so that's why you'll see them with tilak, but a certain type of tilak. So depending on the sect of Hindu that you are, depends on the type of tilak that you wear, or like the pattern that you do. So like Shaivites, those who worship Shiva mainly, they have like white, like 4 white lines going across their forehead, and then a red line going down in the middle, like above their nose. Those are Shaivites. And then Vaishnavas kind of have a gold tilak going up. It's kind of like a U, and then there's like a white line in the middle going up, so it's kind of like a U and then a white line in the middle, or a different color line in the middle, but it's usually just like a gold U and it goes down the nose. So yeah, there's that, going through a personal deity, which can be any god that you choose, or any type of, yeah, any god that you choose, really, any personal god. So in my case, or it could be guru. So Ram Dass, and it's so funny because I began practicing Bhakti Yoga before I realized that that's what Ram Dass practiced. Ram Dass's main path of spirituality was Bhakti Yoga, but it was the type of Bhakti Yoga that went through the guru. So his connection to God, to love, to source, his devotion to God was through Maharaji or Babaji. And so that was very interesting to find out. Like, I found that out like a little after I started practicing Bhakti, because he did a whole talk or a whole seminar on Bhakti Yoga, and then that's when I came to realize that. And well, he said it. He was like, well, my main path of Bhakti. And I was like, wow. So anyways, it could be through the guru. So what it is, so what that is, the personal god or the guru, is to choose a medium to develop a relationship with God. So choosing a medium, it could be anything that you choose to look through to see the eyes of God. So a personal deity, so those who practice with, let's say, Krishna, right? They have pictures of Krishna everywhere, they worship Krishna, they meditate on him, but they are using him as the medium to get to God, to get to Brahman, right? So we'll talk more about that in the Hinduism episode, about the main gods, what we believe in, or what they believe in. I say we because I don't really know if I should consider myself a Hindu, just because I don't like conforming, but I feel like my main belief structure, like, I agree with Hinduism so much. And like, I was thinking about this morning, I was like, man, okay, like, never accept anything as truth, okay? Don't accept anything as truth or reality, because we don't really fucking know what's going on. But so I'm not going to accept Hinduism as my truth, but it resonates with me so deeply, the same as the Tao, that I can't help but to recognize it as my truth. Like, I try not to, because I'm very open to all possibilities. Like, it's not like I'm like, I accept Hinduism as my truth and nothing else is true. Like, that's not at all how it works with me. But I do believe a lot of Hinduism. Like, I resonate with it truly and deeply, to the point where my body feels like it is truth. But I won't be disappointed if it's not, honestly. But anyways, so choosing a medium to develop the relationship with God. Now, in my case, what I was saying is that I don't really have a personal deity, and I don't really have a guru yet, but I do worship Brahman. And Brahman is, you can't really worship Brahman, because that is the universe, that is God, that is source itself, who is incomprehensible, which is incomprehensible. So we can't really worship something that we can't really perceive. So, but I worship the idea of that. Like, I don't know, it's very weird. So the way I do it is I worship through a lot of deities. So the main ones I really like, Shiva, Shiva I was seeing a lot during my spiritual experience last week. And I was seeing his destruction dance, his destruction dance and creation dance. He danced and he destroyed the entire universe, and he also created it with this dance. So Shiva is one of the gods that I practice this through. And also I could say Vishnu, because I resonate a lot with Krishna, and I love the name Ram or Rama, which is one of the other incarnations of Krishna and Vishnu. So I guess on that aspect I can, but I also try and perceive the universe. Like, I personify the universe. Well, the universe is already personified. It is personification, but it's incomprehensible. So whatever it is, I think it's Isvara. So this is something I learned in a book called Bhakti, the Path of Love, and this was by Prahabuji. This is a Brazilian guy, but that's kind of his yogi name, Prahabuji or something like that. And I posted the picture of this cover when I did I was doing the 30 days of something of the month, or like a picture, like one picture every day for 30 days or whatever. And one of them is, what is the book you're reading right now? It is literally a picture on my Instagram. It's called Bhakti, the Path of Love, and it's like Prahaboji or whatever. That's the book that I learned this from. So Isvara is the most of God we can perceive. So when I talk about the universe, when I say I worship Brahman, right, I worship the universe, since it is incomprehensible, the only amount that I can comprehend of the universe goes up to the level of Isvara. So anything past Isvara, like higher than Isvara, is incomprehensible. You can't, that is source itself, that is God, that is Brahman, the incomprehensible. So since we can't perceive Brahman, we can perceive Isvara. Isvara is the max perceivable, or the max that we can possibly perceive God as. So I guess you can say that I worship Isvara, but I always talk about it as if it is Brahman, even though I cannot comprehend Brahman. That is who I worship, that is who I bow down to, that is who I pray to, that is who I chant to, that is my personal God, I guess you could say. So Isvara is probably I haven't read the book in a while, probably is a personal God, and I guess you can use Isvara as your personal God, as a representation of Brahman, since you can't really perceive Brahman. So that is that. That's kind of how I practice Bhakti. So I worship the universe, or Isvara, I guess you can say. But I also do it through many deities. Again, like I said, I do it through Maharaji, through Neem Karoli Baba. That was Ram Dass's guru. I feel like Ram Das was my guru, is my guru. And I get really sad over it sometimes, because I did not get to meet him in this physical lifetime, but I did get to meet his teachings, which I'm very blessed with. So I do consider Ram Dass as one of my gurus, and Neem Karoli Baba is his guru, so I see him as one of my gurus as well. And his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, I think he learned from, I don't know who his guru was, but I feel like he talked about Ramakrishna, which was a guru who is supposedly said to be the incarnation of both Rama and Krishna in one entity. But Rama and Krishna are both Vishnu, so he was Vishnu? Like, that, it doesn't really make sense to me, but his name's Ramakrishna because it is said that he's both Rama and Krishna, but which are both Vishnu. So yeah, I do it through Neem Karoli Baba, I do it through Ram Dass, I do it through Shiva, I do it through Krishna, I do it through Vishnu, I do it through Buddha. I have a lot of Buddhas. I do it through a lot. I do it through a lot of people. But it's all the same, guys, because I'm not bowing down to that person, but I'm bowing down to what I see through that person. So God. Bhakti Yoga is said to be one of the 3 primary paths to enlightenment, and this was said by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you read the Bhagavad Gita, it kind of goes through the yogas. So in the beginning, it talks about, I don't know which order it goes in, but I know that I think it starts as Karma Yoga, then it moves on to Raja Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga, then Jnana Yoga. So in the Bhakti Yoga chapter, I think it's like per chapter, it's like per types of yoga. It's not blatantly where it says that, like, okay, this is this chapter, this is that chapter, this is the Bhakti chapter. Like, but you realize it when you read the whole Bhagavad Gita, that it goes through each, Krishna talks about each of these yogas and how to do them and how you can worship him and how you can bring God into your life, right? So in the Bhakti chapter, I guess you can say, this is where he says it's one of the 3 main primary paths to enlightenment. And it is because you are trying to connect with God, become one with God by having your all love and devotion to God. So on the spiritual path, you kind of move through phases. And I noticed that this was even before I started reading the Bhagavad Gita. This was before I even started studying Bhakti. I feel like I started practicing Bhakti before I even knew what Bhakti was. And then when I learned about Bhakti Yoga, I was like, this is exactly what I'm doing. Like, this is the path that I'm on right now. So the phases that I kind of went through was when I first got into the spiritual path. The spiritual path was, okay, I woke up. I learned about it and I got put on. Then I woke up and that was the beginning, right? So I woke up and this was the beginning of the journey. So then this was kind of like my little learning phase. I was learning about the little mainstream stuff, the chakras, the energy, the vibrations. I was learning about ancient history, about Atlantis. I was learning about aliens. I was learning about very, very interesting stuff to the surface level mind. So that was that phase. And then it moved on to the chaos phase where I realized this fucking world is in chaos. A lot of people living in poverty for no reason. The government's stealing from us. They are trying to put us as make us their slaves. We already are their slaves and we don't even realize it. Nobody's really doing anything. It was just kind of like, I was very upset and I fell into like a depression, but I was very upset actually. I was very upset. I was angry. I was going to protest. I was very active in the anger category. So then that was that phase. Then I moved on to the knowledge phase. Oh no, I moved on to the manifesting phase. So after that, I realized, oh, I create my reality, right? I was manifesting on a whim. Or like, not on a whim, but like by the snap of my fingers. So I went through the law of attraction phase after that. And I was like, look, I could create the entire universe. And so I did that for a little bit. And then I moved on to the knowledge phase, which was when I decided to devote my life to gaining knowledge, to trying to learn everything. This lasted very shortly. I was like, I'm going to try to learn everything, and I was studying intensely about everything. And that lasted a few months, and then I moved on to, I kind of took I don't want to say a plateau, but I got preoccupied with other stuff, I guess, more with writing. This is when I delved deep into my writing. And this was right before I moved out to California. I didn't start my Bhakti path until maybe I moved to California. Or maybe in the beginning of 2020, I think I decided to start on the Bhakti path because I decided to devote my entire life to spirituality. And by deciding to devote my life to spirituality, I decided to devote myself to God. So I guess that's when I started the Bhakti path, maybe the beginning of 2020. That little evolution thing I just gave you, that was over the years, starting from 2015 to 2020. So over the course of 5 years, I went through many phases on the spiritual path. And I feel like Bhakti Yoga may be the second or third to last phase of my life because I don't feel like there's anything. I mean, maybe there is something that can go past devotion, but I think it could just get deeper and deeper until it turns into pure enlightenment. I don't know. I don't really know, but I feel like I'm in one of the major last phases of this spiritual journey, and then I'll probably stick with it for the rest of my life. But anyways, like I was saying, so yeah, Bhakti Yoga, it is devotion. It is devotion, devoting yourself to God, or a personal God, or your guru. It's choosing to see through love, choosing to learn through love. Now, how can you practice Bhakti Yoga? How do I practice Bhakti Yoga? Well, you can do it by chanting, praying, doing rituals, doing japa, which is mantras on beads, japa beads, or chanting the names of God, 108 names of God. So a lot of malas, or a lot of chanting beads, are 108, not including the guru bead. The guru bead doesn't really count, which is like the main little bead with the tassel. And you're supposed to say, so apparently God has 108 names, or is it 108 or 1,000? But it's known to be 108, right? And that's why we chanted 108 times as one full round. So yeah, you can do that. Kirtan is singing devotional songs to God. I do a lot of kirtan. So I do a lot of kirtan, I do a lot of chanting, I do a lot of japa, I do a lot of mantras. Mantra is very personal. Do not share. I've learned this from the Yogi's Cookbook in Be Here Now. Don't really share your mantra with people who don't really care, or aren't in the spiritual community as you are, or aren't into the spiritual life as you are, because any doubts that they have about anything that you're doing, and you tell them your mantra, it kind of enters through that. I don't know, something like that. It's like that little doubt that they have when you tell them about mantra. It's like it enters into your field or your energy, and it kind of brings down the potency. I don't know, something like that. But mantra should be very personal. You can share it with those who also practice mantra, or are very actually genuinely interested, or just to teach. So you could pick a mantra that resonates with you. A lot of people go with Om. That is a very universal mantra. And yeah, you could do ceremony, you could do ritual, you could do puja. Puja's in the morning. I've mentioned in episodes where I've done puja every morning. I'm trying to get back into my sadhana. Sadhana is daily practice. So there's another way to practice Bhakti Yoga. Having a certain ritual that you do. But yeah, mostly chanting, praying, japa, kirtan, ritual. These are all things that you can do to devote yourself to God. Another way is through karma yoga. So Bhakti Yoga, I've read this in the book Bhakti, The Path of Love, that Bhakti is kind of like karma yoga, but with devotion. So being of service, it is devoting your life to God through service. So karma is doing selfless serving, doing like service towards others. So it is, maybe volunteering at a soup kitchen. I haven't done any of this, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I have not done any volunteer work. I haven't done volunteer work since I was younger, and I was like with my mom. Soup kitchen, stuff like that doesn't really interest me, even though I feel like they're great. I'm not like, oh, I'm not gonna waste my time with a soup kitchen. Like, if I have to, like, I will. But I'd rather volunteer in other ways. Like, I don't know, because soup kitchens just don't seem appealing to me, I guess you could say. I don't want to say because of what they're homeless people, because it's crazy people. I'm like, it's not even that, but like standing there and serving food, like, that's kind of boring to me, honestly. Like, it's like, okay, it's volunteer work, it's great, you're helping people, but like, I'm gonna leave that to the people who actually want to do it, I'm gonna volunteer doing things I actually want to do. I'm a very hands-on person, like, working person. If I'm gonna volunteer, I want to put in like hard manual labor. So I'd volunteer at a garden, I would volunteer picking up trash, honestly. Like, I would pick up trash, then do a soup kitchen. And it's not because, like, again, like, I don't like soup kitchens or anything like that. It's just, like, that's boring to me. I don't want to stand there and serve food to people. Like, that's just, I don't want to do that. I'd rather volunteer in other ways. But a lot of my volunteer work, a lot of my service work is in my craft. And what is that? My podcast. My podcast, I see this as being of service. I'm trying to help you elevate your consciousness. I'm trying to help you create your reality. I'm trying to make you live your best life, or help you live your best life. So I feel like this podcast is one way I'm being of service. My writing, in a way, also my writing, because my book, my ebook, A Road to Enlightenment, I feel that's a way of being of service. I help people just on a daily basis. Like, I try to be of service every day. I try to be useful to somebody every day. So that is also how I practice servitude. This is also how you can practice servitude. And also, everything I do it for God. This is another thing. This is another main thing in Bhakti Yoga, is devote everything to me. That is what is said, right? Everything that you is doing. Everything that you do it for me, do it for God, right? So when I do anything, when I work, I say, I'm doing this for you, God. When I'm praying, I'm doing this for you. When I'm eating, I am doing this for you. When I'm walking down the street, I'm doing this for you. When I take care of Haku, when I kiss my boyfriend, when I go to the beach, when I play, when I dance, when I sing, I'm doing it all for God. I devote every single one of my actions to God. Every step I take is a kiss on the earth, a kiss to God, an act of devotion, right? So this is another way of being of service to God. How can you be service of God? By being of service to others. Others are God. By helping anyone and anything, you are being of service to God. But you have to devote it to God. You are doing it for God anyways, whether you realize it or not. You're doing it to do it. But if you do it devoting it to God, that is a whole new thing. And it brings you more into love. It is bringing you more into the actions of love, doing things for love, doing things through love, seeing it through the eyes of God, doing it for the eyes of God, seeing it as the eyes of God. So this is also, again, how you can practice Bhakti Yoga. What else did I want to say about Bhakti? Bhakti. That's mainly it that I wanted to say. Again, is my main path. I fell in love with it so much. I don't know how. I found out what Bhakti Yoga was through this book called Yoga Beyond Belief. And this book is mainly about asanas, because it is written by Ganga White, who's a really big yogi. He's from here, he's from the West, but he traveled to the East, learned yoga, and then came back and brought yoga to the West. And actually, my teacher is a student of Ganga, and I didn't realize this until I started working for her. And she got her certification under Ganga. She met him, she did a retreat with him, and his wife. And I really thought that was crazy that she is a student of Ganga. And I was reading his book, which introduced me to Bhakti Yoga, which introduced me to the 4 main paths of yoga. I didn't even know there were different paths of yoga. I thought yoga was just the way everybody sees yoga, an exercise or whatever. I mean, I knew it wasn't just an exercise. I thought it was like, a spiritual practice and used as an exercise. But I didn't really know that that was only one aspect of yoga. Yoga is way beyond asanas, which is the physical postures, what you see people do in gyms and yoga studios and stuff. It is way beyond that. There are different types. There's very strict yogas and has nothing to do with asanas. There's some limbs or forms of yoga who don't even believe in doing asanas, that reject the body, that don't want anything to do with the body or take care of themselves because they know they are not the body, right? So asanas is a part of Tantra Yoga. Tantra Yoga is another thing. I can do an episode on Tantra Yoga. And that's more in the senses, more in the feeling, right? Getting to know spirituality and practice spirituality through the body, right? So Yeah, that's literally all that I really wanted to talk about when it came to Bhakti. And yeah, I'm gonna look up a Bhakti quote. A Bhakti quote for you guys. I just typed in Bhakti quote, and this is the first thing that came up, alright? Bhakti is love, loving God, loving your own self, and loving all beings. The small heart should become bigger and bigger, and eventually totally expansive. A spark can become a forest fire. And this is so true, guys. This is why it says this is the three main types of, primary paths to enlightenment. Because once you feel that love and that union with God, that sparks something way bigger. Way bigger. I was going to say there's something else after that, but I got stuck reading the next quote. So the next quote, it's a picture of Krishna playing his flute, and it says, the ultimate goal of Bhakti is to get Krishna, or God, and we get it by taking shelter of the holy name. This is something said by Sean Johnson. Who the heck is Sean Johnson? Bhakti Yoga is about channeling an emotional experience into a love affair with life itself. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to mention. When I said that, choosing a medium to develop a relationship, another way is to develop a type of relationship with God. So these relationships can be a father-daughter relationship where you see God as a father. This is why they say, Christians, they say, they call God Father or Papa, or like a lot of like truly Christian families which I've met, they refer to him as Papa or like Dad, or it's something like that, or Father. It's kind of like a father figure, and you're the child figure, so somebody who can watch over you, right? You can see God as a sibling kind of entity where you're equals, and you have mutual respect for each other. But that's the least popular one. More popular is parent-child. The next one is a lover. You could see it as, your partner, your life partner. You can see God through your life partner. This is a main thing that I do with my love. I see God through him. I do my acts of love for God through him, to him, but through him, because he is God. He is literally God. I am literally God. We are one and the same. And by saying like, oh, I only see God through him and I don't see him, that doesn't make any sense, because then that's just saying that he is separate from God, and that it's, what the heck was that? That was the dog. That was so weird. It was creepy, actually. That's just kind of adding that separateness in there. So it could be a lover, it could be a parent-child, it can be a friend. You see it as a friend. I see God as a lover, I see God as a friend, I see God as a protector. It can also be, I think those are the main ones: lover, parent-child, and friend. But whatever type of relationship that you want to form, that can be a medium to developing that relationship with God. With every breath, I plant the seeds of devotion. I am a farmer of the heart. Oh, Rumi said that. Look, this is a quote by Ram Dass. What the heck? Okay, apparently there's a website called BhaktiBreakfastClub.com, and it has all these quotes on it. I'm just on Google Images, but all these images look the same, and then underneath it says Bhakti Breakfast Club. So these are quotes, Bhakti quotes. This is one by Ram Dass. It says, when I'm searching for the ways to stay in love, I hear Maharaji saying, feed people, serve people, love everybody, tell the truth. That was a main thing that Maharaji always said, tell the truth, tell the truth. I wonder why. I was talking about that to Justin. I was like, why was he so strict on telling the truth? This is by Swami Sivananda. If there is anything at all in this world which can change the heart of a man in a very quick time, that is music and dance. Yep, this dog agrees with me as well. Okay, well, anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you so much for supporting me. You can go on Anchor and actually support this podcast for as little as $99 a month. Come on, guys. $1 a month, that's only $12 a year to support me. Like, what the heck? And I'm going to be doing great stuff. Like, why would you not want to support me? But anyways, you are supporting me, but listening to this podcast in general. So thank you so much for listening. I see you guys. The podcast is getting bigger and bigger every day, every episode. More and more people are listening. I love you all from all around the world, every country that you are, whatever is happening in your country, whatever is happening in your state, whatever is happening, just know that it is happening for a reason. It is happening for a reason. Just know we are rising in the collective consciousness. There isn't much to be worried about. We can ease through this, guys. It seems like chaos. It seems like everything, but it's meant to happen. It wouldn't be happening if it wasn't meant to happen. So that's all I can really say. That's how true it was. So please remember your affirmation for this week. I choose to learn through love. How can you choose to learn through love this week? How can you see something through the eyes of God? How can you see something as the eyes of God? How can you see something as God around you? Do it at least once a day. See something as God. Try to do it once every hour. Try to do it as much as you want. Set an alarm on your phone for one every hour. Look at God. See God in everything right now, right? As a reminder. I choose to learn through love. I choose to learn through love. Again, thank you so much, guys, for listening. I love you so much. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. Again, it's Natalia of Earth. My YouTube, I'll be doing evening prayer on Wednesdays, live streaming. I did it this past Wednesday. And yeah, so I'll probably be doing it every week around 5:30 on Wednesday, where you can just pray and meditate with me. It was very chill last time. I didn't do any sound. Tell me if you want to know, if you want sound, if you want to hear my music, if you want to hear me chanting. But I prefer for you guys to do that on your own. That's why I didn't do sound. So yeah, follow me on YouTube. It is World of Natalia. If you want all my links, just go to my Instagram. I have all my links there for my link tree. So you have my YouTube, you have my books in there. You have my website. My website is thewritingsofnatalia.wordpress.com. I know, guys, I'm trying to keep one name for everything. So that's why I have all my links on my Instagram, so it's kind of easy to direct you. Or you could just go to thewritingsofnatalia.wordpress.com, and everything about me is on there. All my books are on there. My YouTube's on there, the podcast is on there, everything's on there. So my photography is on there. So if you really want it, go on thewritingsofnatalia.wordpress.com. But if not, just go on my Instagram. My website is also on there. And also I got a store, you can buy some stuff. I'm going to start making malas, I'm going to start doing events, I'm going to work on a new zine. We got good stuff coming, guys. I have great episodes for you in the future. So again, thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. And yeah, feel free to DM me anytime. My DMs are open to you. I will answer you. Don't think I won't, because I will. And yeah, peace and love. I wish you the best of everything this week. Try to manifest one thing this week and tell me about it. Tell me one thing you created. Tell me one weird thing that happened to you, one synchronicity that you got. I'm very interested to see how your own spiritual path is going. So again, thank you so much. I love you. Peace.